Hello everybody, yeah, welcome to Just for Men Africa, and my name is Olaleko Amosot, the founder of Just for Men Africa, and this is our second shooting. We have with us the one and only Nana with us. Yes, you're going to say something?
No, I'm just expecting you to talk, then I just carry along with what you're going to say.
I know, I'm sure it's a familiar voice you all hear on radio. He's on the Atlantis 87.9.
Yes.
One of the top radio stations here in Ghana. And we have the privilege of having here with him with us. So can you tell us, how did you start on radio?
Radio, I think I started radio in 2002. I was then working with a magazine company. I had a passion for radio, so at some point I decided that, okay, let me give it a shot. So one day I went to Choice FM, and then I spoke to them, and they said, okay, I should come and then learn on the job. I had no experience at that time, so I quit my magazine job and then I jumped on the radio thing, and that's what started for me. Yeah.
That's a long time, 2002.
Yeah, 2002. Yeah, it's been years.
It's been years.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. So is this something like you were doing presentation? Is this something like you were doing previously before, or you learned on the job?
I learned on the job. I had no training. I wanted to do radio because I used to be hooked on Komladumo and then Joy FM, and I so much wanted to work on radio. I listened to him when he even moved to BBC. I was so hooked on him. So it got to the point where I said to myself that, hey, it's time for me to give it a shot. So that's how come I jumped out of my magazine company as a marketer, and then also as part of the event group of that company to go into radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what are some of the mistakes you made on radio?
I made a lot, and I still do. I mean, with radio, you can't say that you wouldn't make a mistake, but then the point is, you should, the more you do it, you mature to the point that some kind of mistakes that would be very grave wouldn't be anymore. Do you get my point? Because you can easily move past it, but there are some kind of mistakes that when they happen, you can't move past that kind of mistake. So when you mature in radio, as time goes on, you can make a mistake. Sometimes, let's say you're presenting a program and then maybe you would mispronounce a particular word, or somebody's name, you may not mention it well. You know, you can quickly do your checks and then get back and then correct it, and you're good to go. Yeah.
Well, what are your thoughts about the entertainment industry in Ghana?
In what aspect?
In all aspects, I mean, music, poetry.
Well, I mean,
the creative industry.
Yeah, I mean, our industry is still virgin. I believe that if the necessary resources are pumped into the industry, it will open up for a lot more people to be seen, because for so many years now, it's just been in a particular direction. Even though some kind of changes are coming in, those changes are just being done by just individuals, and they are not impactful enough to affect everybody.
So who else should do the investments apart from the individuals?
Well, individually, the people are investing, but then we have a governing body that should also invest. The country should also invest, because if you look at other countries, like if you look at the US and other countries, they invest into their creative arts, and this gives the arts that kind of value and voice for other countries and other people across the world to hear about what they are doing. So if we also want that same kind of voice, then we have to invest and put resources to it. It's not an individual thing, it's a collective work that has to be done.
Yeah, I read a lot of the magazines, and it looks like, well, from what I see, it's like people are just waiting for the government to do the investments, rather than people actually taking up the mantle to actually invest in the creative arts industry.
Well, you are right to some point, but then there are individuals that are also investing hugely into the business, just that they are not getting the kind of support that they want from government, so that can scale up. I hope you get it. But if we're talking about government, this is something for the government to even cash out from. You get it? And if the government supports the creative arts, it gives it a certain voice internationally. Because if you look at what was done just a couple of years ago, the year of return and all of that, and government got into the creative arts, you saw the kind of people that were coming in here.
Exactly.
So you can imagine if the government fully invests into the creative arts, the kind of voice that the creative arts in Ghana here would get.
Yeah, you have a point on that.
Yeah.
I do agree with you on that. The year return, the government actually puts in lots of funds into it, and in a lot of people into the country. It's really fun. We're looking forward to the next year, but COVID happened.
Sure, easy.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's talk. Well, this is just for men Africa. What do you think an ideal man should be?
An ideal man?
Yeah.
Well, you should be yourself. That's the ideal man. You should be yourself. That's the most important thing in life. Because if you're not yourself, you cannot be part of this life. Something else will take you away. So just be yourself. So
you don't subscribe to that notion that a man should be a provider, a protector, all that?
How can you be yourself? You should be responsible. You should provide. You should be a leader. And you should know what is right and do what is right. That's basically being yourself. Just being you. You should be responsible when you know you have to be responsible. I don't have to, at my age, I don't have to wait for you to come and tell me that I have to do this. When I'm the one sitting in there and I know that I have to get up and then get it done, I don't have to wait for you. So just be yourself. Being responsible is being yourself and knowing what is right, and you go about your business without waiting for the next one to come and tell you.
Okay, I do agree with you on that. You're married?
Yeah, I'm married. I've got 3 kids.
3 kids. How long are you married for?
I'm going 10 years, I'm sure, yeah.
Really? Can you tell us 1 or 2 things you learned from marriage?
Marriage. Well, what we were told about marriage before we got married is not really what it is, what you find in marriage. Because what I see is every marriage has got its own story, and there's no soothsayer that can be able to tell you that this is how it's going to be. So it's dependent on the both of you to see how best you can harness what you have, the gifts that you have together to keep going. Yes, the challenges, they are going to be there, but you need to brace yourself up and know that it is between the two of you. And until you do something about it for the both of you, there's nobody else coming to help the both of you. Okay. Yeah, people may advise, they may tell you this and that, but it's about taking action that benefits the both of you in that contract or in that marriage that you both have.
Okay. Yeah. What surprised, what were your expectations in marriage, before marriage, and when you got into marriage, what did you find out, oh, this is actually a lie, this is not what they told us?
Well, before I got into marriage, I learned something, not to have expectation. I cut down my expectations because I wanted to learn all over again. Due to my background, where I came from. So I said to myself that I'm not going to put a tag as my expectation from my wife. I'm going to take her as she is. And I would also expect her to take me as I am. So that is what I discussed with her before we got married. And that has been the pattern in which we ride along. So when challenges come, we do our best to solve it. If it is beyond us, we look for someone who can advise us in that area. And then we see, they may tell us what they think is right, but we also come back, pair the advice that we've gotten to see which one would work for us, and then we take it and we go along with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well said. We're both men. If your wife had told you before you got married that she cannot cook, would you have married her?
It depends.
On what?
Well, it depends on the individual, because I'm the type of guy where I don't really need my wife to cook for me because of the kind of food I like to eat.
What kind of food do you like to eat?
I like to eat simple food. I can eat fruits and that will be my food. All that you have to do, sometimes I have to just grind pepper. I can put it on rice. I'm not going to work you out for you to cook for me. I don't stress my wife that way.
But all that grinding of pepper, putting on rice, all parts of cooking.
Yeah, so I can do it. So, and how many minutes will that take? What I'm simply saying is, it depends on the kind of man that you're dealing with. I'm not really bothered about, okay, my wife should cook for me, this food, that food. It's once in a while that I would say, okay, I want this particular food and I want you to get it done for me before I get home. That's all. Right. But hardly would she, because she's always saying that, because he knows what he would want to eat. So I just go about what I want to eat and I eat it. That's it. I don't stress. There are foods that you may enjoy, everybody enjoys, but I won't. I don't really take meat. I don't take milk. You take my point. So I don't stress. I take simple foods and I eat them. I can eat pawpaw for my dinner. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not really any big deal for me in that area. Seriously.
Okay. So what are the kind of things you're bothered about in marriage?
Well, I think I don't like entitlement.
Can you explain entitlement?
Entitlement is when
Is it the Will Smith entitlement?
entitlement, yeah, like when a woman makes you feel like she's entitled to this and that. Because the way I see it, we both agree to go on a certain path. And the pendulum swings based on the tides. Sometimes I may be doing less and you might be doing more. Sometimes I may be doing more and you might be doing less. But we have to have that understanding and respect the seasons and move along. So when you feel like you're entitled, and because you feel entitled, if some things happen and maybe you have the means to actually make it work, but because you feel entitled and you expect the other person to be doing that for you and they don't have the strength and the power to do it at that moment, so you're not going to do it, it doesn't go well with me.
Interesting. I've not heard that point of view before. That's new. Yeah. Entitlement. Okay. So, how long did you say you've been married for again?
I'm going to 10 years, yeah.
10 years?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yes.
Will you do it all over again?
Come again?
Will you do it all over again?
With a woman I'm married to, yes, I always pick her. She's a difficult one, but there's something so wonderful about her.
What makes her difficult?
She's prim and proper, let me put it that way. And I'm the free-spirited type.
What an interesting combination.
Yeah. So she's a warrior. She likes to worry a lot because she wants everything to be perfect.
And you're like, I don't.
Let's get it going. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. All right. So as we bring the interview to a close, and I know we've spoken about what you do, your profession, and your marriage life. Could you tell us what's the future for you? What's in the future for now?
Well, I'm going into writing. It used to be my long-time girlfriend, and I left it. I divorced it for a long time, and the time has come for me to get into it. And I'm going to go into it with a full force. And I'm a professional MC, which I'll continue to do. I do PR, events, management, and radio. And these things I will continue to do them.
Okay, you don't.
I would want to concentrate on the writing.
On the writing.
Yeah.
Right. Do you ever envisage yourself retiring from radio in the future?
No.
You will always hear you on
Maybe a day before I die, I'll do radio. Maybe.
We'll always hear you on radio.
Yeah, I love radio. I love radio.
Okay.
I love radio, and I like to do it private.
Private.
Yeah, just for some few others who would want to have their quiet time and enjoy a good time, listening to good songs and a great conversation.
Okay. Before we end the interview, could you tell us your top 5 favorite artists you love to hear on radio? Let's start with the internationals, then we'll go to local.
Is it music?
Yeah, music.
I love country music, so if you're talking about music, is it general music?
No, I'm talking about country music, which you host on
okay, my top 5 would be Vince Gill,
okay,
Morgan Wallen, Randy Travis, Reba McEntire, and then Miranda Lambert.
Oh, those are good combinations.
Yes.
Why do you love them?
It's the kind of music they churn out.
Okay.
Yes. I'm a private person. I always tell people that I could live in the forest all alone as long as there's a stream for me to fish. I've got my farm and so on and so forth. I like to have that quiet. I love nature, and they sing songs along that lines for me. So I seem to be drawn to their music very much.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you tell us about your top 5 African top musicians you love to listen to? Of course, there's no country.
Reggie Rockstone.
Yes.
Salifu Keita.
Okay.
Yusundo. Kojo Entry. Nanatofo.
I love Kojo Entry. That guy's a great musician.
Yes.
I look forward to interviewing him one day.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Nana, what's your last words for people out there who want to get into creative industry, or your advice to men out there who are growing up, who are still yet to find themselves?
Just be yourself. That's all that I can say, because you have to be different, and you can only be different if you're yourself. So if you want to get into that space and you know that you are creative, or you have the creativity for a particular area of expertise, just be yourself in that area. That's all.
That's all.
You don't necessarily have to be popular, have to be famous, or have to be seen everywhere. But as long as you're good at what you do, that's the most important thing. People will definitely come to you.
I like that. Be good at what you do, and people will definitely come to you. Thank you, Nana, for coming on Just Women Africa.
Thank you very much, Lathan. Thank you.
Really
I appreciate the time.
It's been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
I've been seeing you from afar, and I'm like, oh my God, I look forward to interviewing him one day.
I hope to come another time.
And we finally got here in the studio.
Yes. It can happen anytime. I'm always available for you.
You're welcome. And to viewers who are watching, do not forget to like, subscribe, tell your friend who knows a friend about Just Women Africa, and to the next show from Nana and I to be. Bye.
Bye-bye.